Today I'm going to show you how to use Paracord on a circular loom so that you can use it to create things like beanie hats and carriers and holders. Now this is a small loom. In order to create a beanie hat you will need a different size loom. All I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to set this up. You can see there's a peg there. That's the starting peg, the restraining peg. I'm using red Paracord so to make it easy to see. So you'll need a loom and you'll need a hook tool. The hook tools are geared more for wool. Ideally you need a hook tool where the tip of the hook is as close to the base as possible. First thing you're going to do is to create a slip knot on here. So take the long end, make a loop behind the short end and feed that through. And your slip knot is then running on the long end. And attach that to the peg. We're going to use what's called the E-wrap method. I've tried other stitches on these looms, but I tend to find the E-wrap method works better because it creates a looser stitch. Some of the others are too tight and really hard to work with. So what you're going to do first is go behind the first peg and then create an E-loop over it. Onto the second peg, and then you're just going to do that on each peg. Go behind. It helps to twist this a little bit as you go and make sure that these are quite loose. As you can see in there should be a kind of, you don't want them too tight. If you watch this one here, you do not want it tight so that the line, the cord goes straight across at the back. You want them to have a curve. So if you think you might have them a little bit tight, just push the hook through a little bit just to loosen things off. But make sure your loops are nice and loose. They will at times spring off. You're just going to have to deal with that, I'm afraid, because otherwise Paracord on these looms is too difficult to work with. When you get to the last peg, go round again. You need 2 loops on each peg, and at the moment, as you can see, there is just 1 loop facing you on each peg. So now you go round again. So we're now up to the last peg with the cord in front of us. So now we take our hook and we loop, we slide that. If you look on these pegs, on these looms, there's a little groove. I always work into the groove, slide it under the bottom loop, and then take the bottom loop over the top loop and over the top of the peg. And that's it, you don't have to worry about that anymore, it's knitted off. So this is just casting on. So under the bottom loop and over the top. You will find that you get relatively fast at this. Don't worry about it looking messy or anything like that. The great thing about this is it evens itself out. You may have to at times lever the cord, especially if you have gone a bit too tight, lever it on, which is how you bend your hook, lever it on the bottom of the loom. You may at times catch the outer covering of the Paracord with the hook and cause it to fray. Don't worry too much about that. You can always take your lighter and just singe it off. Okay, so we have 1 loop on each peg as we've been around and hooked them all over. So now we start again. We're going to do exactly the same thing. We're going to loosely wrap the cord around each peg. And then when you're back to the beginning, on your last peg, take the bottom loop over the top loop and knit it off, and then do the same thing again. Okay, you can see inside it's starting to form a pattern. The back, this is going to be the back of it. If you want it to be the back, it could be the back. That will look very different to the front, to the other side when it's done. I'll show you the finished product in a minute. So now we do the same thing all over again, and then we just keep doing this until we reach our desired length, until you reach the length that you want this to be. Now if you look on the inside, I think you'll be able to see this. Yeah, you can start to see the pattern starting to form on the inside. I'm not going to show you too much. The easy thing for me to do is to show you a finished product. You would just continue then all the way around doing the same thing until this has reached the desired length, the length that you want it to work with. So that's how to knit on a circular loom using Paracord.